Ladies and gentlemen, our first look at NBA 2K24 MyTeam is here, and I'm not even gassing it up when I say this. This is gonna change the way MyTeam is played forever. There is so many changes, a few concerns, but we'll talk about it as we go. We're gonna get things started here with the NBA 2K24 official MyTeam trailer. Then we'll get into the blog, and hopefully I'll answer some things that you guys might have questions too. But y'all can see off the bat, one thing that was obviously changed is the clutch time court. This is gonna be the new gen one. Don't know if it'll look the same for current gen, but I love this. It is a little bit dark, kind of similar to the TTO with the whole pink vibe, but hopefully I won't get sick of it too soon. Maybe they'll change it around, who knows, but nice little luxury look in the background, a crowd, and one thing I noticed off the bat is that there's now a 24-second shot clock in clutch time, but of course, more on that later. We got Curry with the layup package, Giddy with the alley-oops. Yeah, clutch time is looking valid. When it comes to TTO, it's looking like it's the exact same as last year. This does concern me a little bit because one thing I really wanted in my team was more variety with courts like they did in Park. At the end of the day, TTO is just TTO, but for something I play all year, and by the way, super cool how the crowd actually engages with you, and this is gonna be a bunch of the things that are gonna be added into 2K24. So seasonal tokens, shattered prizes, new player market, a lot of the stuff that you see on here we'll talk about more when it comes to the blog, including deal of the day, updated shoe cards, regrading cards. Why? Y'all are about to see, but for now, let's keep it going with the trailer, man. I'm looking forward to a lot of things, man. The new player market, they're not gonna talk about it too much. Again, I've got this muted, playing a different music over it. New salary cap mode, which was talked about a while ago, is gonna be very similar to the NBA 2K18 system. Crossplay is something they've been talking about non-stop since 2K24 Next Gen got announced. This looks the exact same as 2K23, so that's where I am gonna give them a bit of a knock. I'm still gonna play the game at the end of the day, but we like a nice refreshing new look. That's all I'm gonna say, and it looks like they did that for clutch time, but not really anything else. Booker for 3, bang! This is what the new menu is looking like. Let me know how y'all feel about it. It's almost a little bit simplified. I saw someone said that it looks like it came from a mobile game, and I kind of laughed because I see that, but at the same time, I actually like it. Y'all let me know how you feel. First look at the pack animation right there. Looks like Amethyst Al Horford is gonna be one of the cards you'll have access to day one. I say that because hashtag 2K day, likely gonna be a locker code or some sort of challenge to get the card. But man, I'm really messing with the card arts. It looks like there's a bunch of pieces you can also get for Sapphire Robert Horry, which we'll talk about in a second. Jason Tatum going crazy. Paul Pierce for 3, and there's gonna be a couple other highlights, and that's pretty much gonna do it. So let's get to the blog. Now let's get into the bread and butter, the MyTeam blog, where I think they're gonna be making the biggest change we've seen from one MyTeam mode to another. I'm excited for this. Definitely gonna be some stuff we need to talk about though. The fan favorite mode, MyTeam, is back, and they start by talking about MyTeam points and launch gem colors. To essentially summarize what they're feeling in these paragraphs right here, they understand that MyTeam points were hard to earn just by playing the game in previous years, and 2K23 might have been the worst that we've ever seen. Now they're looking to make the earn rates here a little bit better by pretty much doubling the amount that you get in the MyTeam mode, bringing more flexibility for people and hopefully feeling like they're actually earning something for playing the game. Not sure how that'll adjust with inflation and the different pricing, but right now that looks good. The one I'm more excited about though is the launch gem colors. Essentially what they're saying in this one is they understand that the pacing of 2K23 just wasn't good. So in fact, they're gonna dial it back to the 2K17 and 2K18 era, where lower tier cards are actually gonna have value as they work their way up to the crazy cards. In fact, to start off season 1, the highest tier you'll be able to get is going to be maxing out at a diamond, and there's only going to be a handful of diamond cards available in season 1. I don't know about you guys, but I love this. Having instant access to pink diamonds, galaxy opals, and dark matters in season 1, well, not dark matters, but y'all know what I mean, it was a little bit crazy, and 2K kind of felt like they had to up the stake every month. Now that they're starting with the sapphires, which are now going to have a ton more value as a result, I think this is gonna make for a lot more pacing. This right here is going to be a pre-order bonus for those of you guys that order the NBA 2K24 Black Mamba edition. This is actually making it look like pre-order bonuses might be worth it again, because in this Black Mamba edition, you get a 5-player option pack box, which includes your choice of an Amethyst card, kind of crazy considering how the pacing is gonna be, a Ruby, 3 Sapphire player cards, making this one of the most powerful bonuses ever included with the game. And I can vouch for that because when you think about the past, when we got a Ruby Devin Booker, what was that card doing? There's already cards that had way better stats on day one and were much better off using than a Ruby Devin Booker, and that goes with all the previous years, like getting the Sapphire Kobe, a Sapphire Giannis, stuff like that just didn't feel like it was worth it. So the fact that we have access to an Amethyst, Ruby, and 3 Sapphires, especially when they have value like this off the bat, is amazing. It's worth noting that I'm more excited for Ruby Giannis now. I thought we were getting Amethyst base cards, so we were gonna get a Giannis that was gonna be better off the bat, but now that we're not gonna be, this is actually going to be a big dub. As we scroll down, you can see that they did indeed go back to the 2K17 system, where the highest gem tier for a base card is going to be an 85 overall. So expect to see that for Embiid, Tatum, Giannis, Luka, Curry, LeBron, whatever you want to mention it. That's going to be the highest tier. That's going to be awesome for balance. Let me know how y'all feel about it in the comment section below. Now, things start to get a little crazy. This is the game-changing stuff that I'm talking about, and this is gonna be a player market. Guys, this now officially means that, yeah, the auction house is gone. No more sniping, no more buying badges, no more buying coaches. It seems like the only thing you are only gonna be able to buy online is going to be players. Let me know how y'all feel about that, but let's read up on a little bit here. So the biggest change here is gonna be all about player cards, specifically how you add them to your collection and wanna get more MyTeam points. This year, they're including the player market, a new market that will grant access to almost any player card available. However, season mode and other player cards will still only be available by earning them. Community feedback is in action here. Whether they respond to that is another thing, but in previous years, the best player cards were only available through the auction house, and MyTeam prices would sometimes feel unobtainable. That is correct. This could be a way that you're actually going to be able to get a lot of good cards because it's not going to be a bidding system. Every card that is the same is pretty much going to be going for the same value. As they say right here, each player card here will be available with transparent prices to add to your collection with your choice of buying them with VC or MyTeam points. That's very interesting. If you find yourself short on MyTeam points on a card you really want, 2K24 now allows you to bridge the gap through the purchasing of MyTeam points. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's another big thing I wanted to talk about that they announced with the player market. Y'all see this menu right here at the bottom, get MyTeam points. You can now legally buy MyTeam points in NBA 2K24. Depending on the pricing, that's gonna end up being super huge. Hopefully it's a decent enough value where they can worry about making money on VC on the park end and let people really enjoy the MyTeam mode with cheaper MyTeam points. But then I wonder, how is that gonna work in the pack market? Will you still be able to buy things with VC and MT? I hope so, because you can get both. And if you can buy boxes with MT, that's where things really begin to get awesome. Collections that come with a completion reward will even show the reward and your progress alongside the cards, and if you want, you can outright get an entire set for a discount. That really is nuts. Now, as we scroll down, things are gonna get crazier here. You can see right here, there's something called a deal of the day, which is exactly what it sounds like. There's gonna be certain cards on certain days that are gonna be going for cheaper prices than their usual. This could be a way, in my opinion, to make MT if you catch the right window. For example, today Kevin Durant is on the deal of the day. I'm gonna buy as many Kevin Durants as I can before the price changes tomorrow, and then I'm gonna make MT. I feel like a lot of people are gonna capitalize on that, and it might be one way to really make a good amount of MT. But the purpose of the player market here is to make player cards accessible and straightforward for everyone to improve their lineups. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually really like this. I understand why they got rid of the auction house. I feel bad for people that are snipers, considering I love doing that on my no money spent account, and that's gonna take a toll on me. But overall, it was pretty much to avoid those MT sites and stuff that was essentially raising the price of popular cards, so you were more convinced to buy MT, otherwise you had no chance of obtaining a lot of these cards. So from a macro perspective, this all sounds super awesome. Experiencing it in the first season is gonna be something else. Another thing to mention is in that player market, there is now more variety for you to be able to search stuff, such as someone who's got higher three-pointers, someone who is more of a defensive beast. It's kind of nice that they added more filters for finding cards. And this right here is what gets crazy, man. Being able to directly add a player to your collection is awesome, and being able to quick sell them. Like 2K mentioned, they want you to get more MyTeam points for things, and now you're gonna be able to quick sell cards for way higher of a value. For example, Ruby player cards like 2K Dave Patrick Ewing will not only be some of the best cards available, but they can be sold directly for over 25,000 MyTeam points for a Ruby. So imagine what amethysts and diamonds are gonna be quick selling for, and even this value can be increased. This is where the grading system suddenly matters again. The MyTeam Authentic Grading Service is back, and if you can get a card that is a flawless 10, it will dramatically increase the resale value of your card. So it's kind of similar to collecting in real life. This way, if you feel like your card didn't get the grade that you want, you can go ahead and regrade it. Depending on how much it's gonna cost to keep regrading these cards to get maximum value, this actually might bring some relevance to grading cards. Now, I do wish they kept the in-game value of keeping these graded cards, except actually increasing the amount of MT points you earn per game as a result of having that flawless 10. Because now I'm thinking, I don't really want to have a flawless 10 on my lineup, because I'd rather just sell it and make the MT if it doesn't provide me any in-game value. But it is going to be one way you'll be able to increase the MT you can make from a card. And guess what? There's actually going to be more ways you can do it. For example, holographic cards now have more value than just being shiny. We'll talk about this here, and then we'll go up. Holo cards also need a shiny shout out here, as they'll still drop from packs. However, holo cards before were just a flex. Now they bring a 4x multiplier to that card's sell value. So for example, Patrick Ewing, y'all saw he quick sells for 28,000 MT. If he was graded a 10, and let's say he was selling for 40,000 MT, and then on top of that he was holographic, he would be able to sell for 160,000 MT. That's just doing some math. I'm not speaking factual stuff for this Patrick Ewing, but stuff like that is crazy. Simply for the fact that he's holographic, look at the revenue you are earning. So being able to secure a holographic card from packs, from challenges, stuff like that, is indeed going to be insane. Now I'm looking forward to that. Now you can really flex a holographic lineup, because you can say, yeah, my lineup is worth that much. Again, similar to the grading system, I still wish holographic cards had in-game value, because you're more just telling me, if I pull one of these, I don't want to show them off, I want to sell them, and I want to make my MT right away. If they made it so that holographic cards could, let's say, hold even one extra badge early in the game, not only is that big time because you can still balance it with what badges they can and can't hold, but it would just make the value of the card better both in game and outside the game. Now let's talk about the pack market, somewhere I've spent a lot of time recently making you guys videos at the cost of my Hall of Fame credit card. The new player market is definitely one way to go when you know which player card that you want, but of course there's some big changes to the pack market, and actually in a good way. New releases in the pack market will not only feature improved odds. Now when I read that, I love y'all 2K, but I am simply gonna go ahead and call BS on that, because as we've seen even with dark matter odds later in the year, 40% chance to pull a dark matter, but 99% of that 40%, it's always a specific card, and then 1% of that 40% is usually the chase card, which is unfortunate. So I'm not gonna think too much into the improved odds. If in general higher gem tiers are flying, that is gonna be a dub for the rare player cards, but the pack market will also include more options for guaranteed pulls with fan favorite pack types and more. To do that, equal chance and option packs are going to be included. So they saw the success with the equal chance packs and the option packs later on in the year. This year, they realized that not only does it make them money, but for people that don't want to gamble, they can just buy the card that they want right away, along with a new Prime box. These are 5-pack boxes, guaranteed a top tier player from that release. God, they are probably gonna be so expensive, as well as multiple equal chance and option packs. And for the first time ever in the pack market, a Hall of Fame badge is included in each Prime box. Now, I'm not sure if these are gonna be limited amounts or not, but if they are not, The people that have the money like that are going to be able to build some god tier players. Now, this does raise one negative thing I do want to talk about, because as you guys can see, when cards are set to sell for a certain price, that is their market value. This means that even though you might add 20 Hall of Fame badges to Patrick Ewing and a diamond shoe, he is still going to sell for that same value as all the other Patrick Ewing. So if you're really going to be putting badges into a card, now you got to make sure it's going to be a card that you're going to actually use. You can no longer really use Hall of Fame badges to try to make extra MT. So for me personally, that's something I definitely don't like, because they've already removed sniping, which was a way to make MT. And now even if you get lucky with some insane Hall of Fame badges that you're not going to use because you might not be the most competitive person, but you want to sell it off to someone, no longer can you do that as well. Unless technically somebody puts one up and you can technically snipe it, because you can find a Patrick Ewing that is the same price as a regular Patrick Ewing but has all this stuff. People are going to find a way to move cards around to make loaded lineups. But in my team, one of the best feelings is picking up a previously released budget cards. Now, they're pretty much saying that as cards get older, market value is going to decrease, which means they're going to make sure that you're going to be able to get these cards for cheaper later on. So just because a card isn't in packs anymore doesn't mean it's going to be insanely expensive. You'll still be able to pick it up for a cheap price if you're someone that is going for collector level. So I think that's actually pretty fire. So release cards will begin to have their values decreased 3 weeks after they are released. So that way, if you know you can't afford a card in that first week, wait a couple of weeks. And if it's someone who's going to be like Tim Thomas, who just transcends throughout the MyTeam mode as time goes on, then they'll actually end up being an insane value pickup as time goes, especially if they only continue to drop every 3 weeks. Unsellable player cards will also be used as rewards throughout the year, including locker codes, which I'm really hoping we see a ton more of this year. While they are unsellable, they'll be just as powerful on the court. If you happen to receive a duplicate, their sell values will be similar to previous years of MyTeam. That does concern me a little bit, because those weren't very high. So try to make that a little bit higher than the previous years of MyTeam. You know how you said you double stuff? At the minimum, you're going to need to double those duplicate values. So one of the biggest changes they're going to be making for the better, in my opinion, is how you get XP and the season changes. For starters, there is no more XP agendas. This makes me so happy and should make anyone that spends money or doesn't spend money on the game happy as well, because now all you do is earn XP by simply playing the game. This means if you're a no money spent player, you don't have to make a bunch of MT in order to buy the most expensive card so you can earn 5,000 XP from it. You can just go ahead and enjoy whatever mode you want. If you're no money spent and only like offline, you can do that. If you don't like playing offline and you only want to play online, you can also do that and earn XP. So in my opinion, that is a big dub. You are not locked to playing certain modes. I know 2K probably did that in the past, so people will be forced to try out a bunch of different modes in hopes that they would like it, but people got tired of it. Now all you gotta do is just play games, that's it. Win or lose, you're gonna be able to progress. This was long overdue, 2K. MyTeam is also gonna be able to run double XP limited time events across all of the modes. This could end up being super cool, because you know how they usually have those triple threat vault events? Now they might instead have double XP events depending on a mode that you play. So that actually can end up being super cool. Very similar to how they do that in Park. I don't play much Park, but it seems like that's working out for them. It can definitely work out for us. And it looks like they've also done that for dynamic goals. Previously with dynamic goals, all you would do is get a triple double for 200 MT. Nobody in their right mind was doing that unless they were simply just bored out of their heads. Now you actually complete these dynamic goals and you're rewarded with XP instead. That's also a big dub. For those of you wondering, MyTeam cross progression is still at play. I was low-key surprised by it, but I'm not. Essentially, it's going to be what's happening now, where your data from PS4 can carry over to PS5 as far as cards that you've collected and stuff like that. But now we move on over to season 1 rewards and tokens, and you start the season with a free agent, LeBron James. Definitely valid, no complaints, my favorite player of all time. But things that you'll be able to earn as you get to level 40 are going to include prize basketball cards, which have been pretty fire this year. In my opinion, they were a good addition, which you can break open and give a reward when used in games. You can rise up the seasonal ascension board, so it looks like that is going to be back as well. You'll be able to spin a wheel featuring last year's All-Star Series 1 cards, which is interesting. Now that might be new, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. If they update it with newer cards as the year goes, that's definitely going to be fire. And you can get brand new season-themed uniforms along with a season ball to add to your collection. I'm a fan of that as well because they always messed around with the balls, pause on that, but they never did too much with the uniforms in the past. I'm happy to see that. You'll even be able to earn double XP coins to reach the next level even faster. So that is a dub. Y'all can see right here, this is going to be the level 40 reward. Now, for those of you guys that are wondering why is there two different Kyries, the only way I know how to say this is 2K wanted to identify who got the broke Kyrie and who got the money Kyrie, because the only way you'll be able to get this Kyrie card art is if you have the Hall of Fame pass, and if you have the free pass, this is the Kyrie card art that you'll get. Both are going to do the exact same thing in game, so don't feel like you need to go ahead and get this one. This is just to separate people to make them feel better about getting that Hall of Fame pass. Again, this is saying I got money, this is saying I don't. Some of the players you'll be able to get on your way to level 40 is an Emerald KG, Emerald Jordan Clarkson, Sapphire Vlade Divac, Ruby Bradley Beal, and a center position Amethyst Magic Johnson. That could end up being well depending on how he plays, and you'll also get an Amethyst Phil Jackson coach card to lead your lineup with new coach boosts. And the new coach boosts, guys, they're going to be super fire. And you guys can also see right here, Brandon Roy is going to be the ultimate reward for season 1. What does that mean? Essentially, if you collect every card in season 1, the card in triple threat online, clutch time offline, unlimited, you'll be able to lock in all these cards to secure a diamond Brandon Roy. So you guys will be able to see it right here. Level 40 is not going to be the end of that season journey anymore. For those of you guys that really dedicate yourselves to grinding the game, and it's really nice to see Brandon Roy back because I don't think he's ever been bad in a My Team. So this card, he is definitely going to be tough. So you're going to need to earn all the Ruby player reward cards from every single mode and collect enough seasonal tokens. Yes, seasonal tokens. What they mean by that is tokens no longer carry over from season to season. A lot of people would complain about how they just have too many tokens. Now 2K is like, your tokens only matter per season, so there's no point in saving them up. Spend them as much as you can on as many rewards as you can for that first season. A set amount of tokens are going to be available only through direct means like seasonal level, agenda, and mode rewards. And in that token market, people like Sapphire Franz Wagner, Ruby Daryl Griffith, Amethyst Tom Gugliotta will be available, all of which you need to collect for that Diamond Brandon Roy. Because again, you need to collect everything, and those tokens do expire at the end of each season. So don't bother hoarding them. So right here, our first look at the vault prizes, which includes the Series 1 player. This looks like some kind of badge pack, as well as the diamond shoe and the MT. But the funny thing is, this guy's playing Clutch Time Online. Usually this only happens in TT Offline. Well, that is no longer a thing. They're saying that all these specific mini games are no longer tied to a specific game mode. This means that you will get some sort of random mini game every time you play the game. So now you're not getting the vault for playing Unlimited and TT Offline. You can get the vault playing Clutch Time Offline, Clutch Time Online. You might get the door game, which is the one in Limited, while you're playing TT Offline. This adds a super cool and new dynamic because it changes every time. You're no longer necessarily tied to a specific game mode because you feel like that certain mini game has better luck. It's going to be changing every single time. So that's actually going to be pretty neat. You're going to be able to see all the different things you can win. I don't think this is the lock for season 1 because they're likely not revealing a lot of the cards and stuff that are in there just yet. But again, this right here is another thing that I think is going to be a big dub. Another thing they want to talk about is more events directly to earn player reward cards. With agendas no longer giving XP, they'll now be used to create new seasonal and events, so hopefully we see a ton more of those. Season 1 will offer multiple events with powerful Ruby to Diamond player cards as the final event rewards. There'll also be earnable player cards from release sets, means some player cards will be available through packs, the player market, or to earn directly. So you won't be able to necessarily get everything just from opening packs. So I'm looking forward to that. Right here we can see Steph Curry. You can see that he's actually now 6'2". Curry is not 6'3" anymore. Curry fans, y'all might be upset by that, but man, I'm really messing with the card art. And right there you can see his salary is at 500, which is now going to transition into the salary cap and multiplayer modes. Now, this is pretty much going to be like NBA 2K18, but I don't know how to explain it well, so we're going to read through some of this together and then I'll translate it. This is going to be the salary cap, a new multiplayer mode coming to my team. Not really new, but it is new, renamed from 2K18. This type of mode does have a history in my team, at least they addressed that. And the new iteration takes on some of the best parts of the previous version and combines them with the latest unlimited format for all new experience. Each season salary cap will be split into 3 2-week rounds. Each round comes with its own leaderboard, salary limit for lineups, and rewards. In season 1, each round will have its own Ruby player reward card, and if you earn all 3 in season 1, you'll also get an Amethyst Victor Oladipo. Might not sound like the craziest card, but keep in mind, guys, 2K24 is going to play completely different from 2K23, so don't miss out on a card just because it wasn't hype in 2K23. For all we know, this Oladipo might be a god. While the salary lineup limit remains constant for the 2-week round, the individual salaries of the players will fluctuate multiple times each week based on the card usage. So for example, if everyone and their mom is using Steph Curry, even though he's insanely cheap, his salary is going to go up to like 1,000, and he's going to use more space as a result of him being more popular, which is what they did in 2K18. This makes the game a little bit pay to win, and I'll explain why. When new cards come out in packs, they're going to have insanely low salaries because nobody has had the chance to use them yet. Cards can't adjust salaries until they've actually been used in game. This means that if you always have the newest cards, similar to 2K18, what is what people hated, you'll always have the best lineups as a result. So this is kind of a case where unless you find a budget gem and tell nobody about it, if everyone finds out about an awesome budget card, they're all going to use it. The salary of it is going to go insane. And for example, a Sapphire Mo Bamba might be worth like 1,500 salary, whereas to a brand new Diamond LeBron James in packs will only be 500 salary. I hope that makes sense. Now, these salary cap games actually have a new format, which is cool. It utilizes a 2-half game setup where you'll be able to complete the first half in 2 regular 6-minute quarters, trying to build the biggest lead that you can, because at halftime, the game changes to a fixed score ending, very similar to the All-Star game where 24 points is added to the leading score at the half, and the first player to reach that target score wins. Kind of cool how they did that, since Kobe is the cover and the All-Star system was inspired by Kobe being Bryant. So I'm actually excited to kind of see how that works out. That could be fun, because even though the games might look like they're going to be long, they'll actually end pretty quick, especially if you're a very good scorer. But of course, you're also going to have to lock down on defense. It's going to be cool trying to see some people make some insane comebacks from that, so that should be fun. While with salary cap joining unlimited in my team, it is worth noting the 2 full lineup multiplayer modes from last year, draft and limited, are officially gone, which I'm not surprised about, because limited was boring. It pretty much locked you down every single weekend to get a card that was maybe going to play a lineup. And the draft mode, I'm just going to be honest, it was executed horribly. I'm glad 2K realized that and they got rid of it. I truthfully can't remember the last time I willingly loaded up the draft mode simply because I said I would enjoy it. There was like 2 good rewards in there, a Pink Diamond Glenn Robinson this past year and the year before. Other than that, the last 2 years have just been an absolute flop, but again, I'm glad they realized it. Now, one thing they are adding is that unlimited championship weekend, where you can get a championship ring each week. In previous years, you played the door game to seek out the ring, but in 2K24, it is pretty much going to be a best of 7, where you need to win 4 out of 7 games, and you'll go ahead and you'll get that championship ring. And while there will be a ring available each weekend with rewards and lifetime rewards for getting multiple rings, missing a ring will not ruin your chances of getting a seasonal or other reward. So if you have a busy weekend, you no longer have to feel like it is going to affect how you enjoy the game for the rest of the season, which was something that was big with that limited mode. If you missed one weekend, the whole of the season was automatically ruined for you. That's why I just didn't even try for the limited ring in the first place, because I'd be pissed committing every single weekend, but out of something I couldn't get out of, I automatically missed out on the reward. That is no longer the case. Salary cap and unlimited will both provide a competitive experience to anyone looking for a challenge in multiplayer with Triple Threat Online, Clutch Time Online, Triple Threat Online Co-op. MT earnings become more important. Overall, it just looks like they're really trying to increase the online environment and the gameplay experience. Now, there's one thing I don't like here. Players who decide to quit early in games can find themselves temporarily restricted from multiplayer modes after multiple quits. There's too much on the line when playing multiplayer, and early quits only hurt the experience for the MyTeam community. This is something they have tried in the past, and it has flopped, and I'm going to say this again, it is going to flop again, because you got to think about being in the person's shoes. Yes, if you're someone like me who's a creator and trying to score 100 points with Wilt, I don't want the person to quit if I'm flooding them, because I'm going to get at 100, but if you're talking about the basic player, nobody who is down 40 to 50 points wants to keep playing the game. So the fact that them quitting means they can't continue to play more games is going to hurt. And the same thing goes for people that are competitive trying to fly through games. If they are up 50 points, they'd much rather have the person quit so they can jump into another game that is hopefully a bit more competitive. I think this is going to hurt the experience for a lot of players, and I don't see it lasting very long. Last time they had to get rid of it, and I think midway through the year, we're going to see this gone as well. I just don't see much value in this. I do see value in this though. Speaking of improving the experience online, sometimes your opponent can be a bit too creative when it comes to their custom court logo and jerseys. In new gen, if you want to avoid seeing all that, the weird green courts and stuff like that, and you want to focus on a normal court and beating your matchup, you can now hide your opponent's custom assets right from the pause menu and continue to play the game while they enjoy their own custom art. This is great for anybody who hates looking at all the crazy courts, people trying to hide all the court lines and stuff like that. And on top of that, as a creator, no longer do I have to worry about you idiots that put boobs and penises and asses all over your court. Now I don't have to leave a game simply because you guys want to be inappropriate idiots. I can just go ahead and mute your court. Muting your court is hilarious and I love it. As far as clutch time goes, this is that new arena we saw at the beginning of the trailer. Looks super fire, and like we were able to notice, there is a 24-second shot clock instead of the 14 seconds. Me personally, I would have gone with like 18 to 20 seconds. That way you could still keep that pace fast. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Maybe they'll adjust it, maybe they won't. But let's talk about some of the bigger stuff here. The coach boosts and the in-game update. So y'all can see coach boosts aren't the same way they were in the past. In this case, some coaches will have something where you gotta trigger it in game. In this case for Chris Finch, your team forces 2 consecutive turnovers in the first half, and you'll activate all this for every player on your team. And then the boost will end if the lead changes. And this isn't necessarily going to be the formula for every single coach. Every coach is going to be different. They're going to say, like, for example here, Amethyst Kobe Bryant coach card. During the entire fourth quarter of a game, Coach Mamba will improve all of your players' blinders badges to at least gold. And if players already have blinders badges on gold, it will be boosted to Hall of Fame. So this is super, super cool. Brings a whole brand new dynamic to coach cards like we've never seen before. I'm excited for this because before it was just, it didn't even matter who the coach was. What boosts are you gonna give me? Now every coach has a very different dynamic and feel to them. Before, all we did was look for +6 speed, +6 3-pointer, +6 ball handle, and the ones that had the most OP stuff. Now it can be very situational based on what you need, and I think that's gonna end up being big time. And they also talked about how there's now like some new commentaries in game, which for me doesn't matter too much because I play with the commentary muted because I am the commentary. But who knows, we might play around with that just to see what Vince Carter and Zion Williamson really have to say. Now, one big thing that they did change here is the starter kit. Previously, there was 3 starter players to choose from. Now there is 30. There is one for every single team. That's right, you can choose a starter kit based on your favorite player, and yes, there's gonna be a different player for every starter kit, each one with an Evo, just like in the past. This is gonna be so huge, man. This is so fire. 30 different players to choose from rather than the generic 3 that you wouldn't end up using anyways. Based on the gem tiers, if they end up being usable, that's gonna be big. If there's gonna be a way to acquire some of the other starter kits, that's gonna be awesome. But these starter kits are gonna come with some crazy stuff, as you guys can see here. 1 of 30 available. After naming your team, you'll get a free welcome My Team pack, which includes Derek Fisher. Now, when it comes to the lineup screen, there was a quality of life improvement because you can now save multiple lineups for these modes. So the trio that you might use in single player triple threat is going to be different from your TT online one. Now you no longer have to worry about having to change all 3 players every single time you go back and forth. For me, it was something little, but I hated it. And the fact that they've changed it, even though it's not necessarily a big change in the game, in the long run, the quality of life improvements, it's definitely going to be big. Another change that they made that I think is actually going to be huge for people in the future is going to be being able to autofill your lineup. One big example that they made was the Spotlight Sim, where you might require 10 Hawks players. Now you can just autofill it from a team. You can autofill tallest, fastest, best defense, especially when you've got a new salary cap lineup. You can autofill a salary cap, so it'll choose the players for you, and then you can adjust accordingly from there. That actually I think is gonna be super big. I'm a big fan of that. And then on top of that, y'all can see here with your individual players, you can directly edit everything just from this menu. So you don't have to jump into your collection, look at your card to add badges, and then go back and forth and back and forth. Everything is right here. You can see his evos right here and the evo requirements. It's just all right there. The shoes, the badges, injuries, being able to swap between players is also right there. This is a very clean layout, and me personally, I'm a big fan of that. Being able to see what the evos are going to do off the bat like this from what they were, I think is a very good look. Almost looks like 2K database, but you don't need to go to 2K database in order to see it like that. So that is going to be a big dub. Shoe cards also have been updated. So the way they work now is when you get a shoe, it already has boosts on it, and it's going to be random for every single shoe. So just because you get 2 of the same shoe doesn't mean it's going to have the same boosts on it. They're going to be randomized, but you're going to be able to adjust the boosts on the shoes to your liking. So if you don't like what's on there, you can completely replace everything. But the reason I like this is you might get lucky and you might get that randomized attribute boost, which you already need, which then is going to save you MT or time hunting for that specific boost that you need on a player. So you can still fully customize your shoe cards, but they've just made it a little bit easier in the sense that the shoe isn't useless off the bat. It can still be usable if you just have the shoe. Now let's talk about collector level reward, which is something that was an absolute flop of flops this year. It was horrible. Let's all just accept it. Now it looks like they're looking to redeem themselves in a big way, starting by announcing that the final collector reward is going to be Kobe Bean Bryant. This is the transparency that I love, and he's going to be available by April during season 6. Giving us a timeline is also nice. We like to see that. Rashard Lewis was the reward this year. Not only was he not a big name, we didn't even know about him until like June, and then he wasn't available until like August, a month before the new game dropped, and only like 0.01% of players actually managed to get him legitimately without buying MT. Like that was horrible. They did that bad. I think they were aware of it. I'm loving the transparency, and as long as we see transparency on our way to that Kobe Bryant, I'm actually very excited for it. I hope it's Froby and not the bald Kobe. Y'all know I love the Froby. Another thing that they're actually doing, since tokens are going to be a bit more rare, is at launch, Series 1s will consist of the 450 players that they always do. And if you manage to complete the sets of every team, there's going to be a Ruby player reward card, similar to what they did back in 2K17, where you'd be able to lock in for what was Sapphire players at the time. And now when you complete a full conference, you'll be able to add Amethyst Bam Adebayo for the Eastern Conference and Amethyst Jamal Murray for the Western Conference. Ronnie hinted that Jamal Murray was getting a jumper rework, and that was one of the biggest things that stopped him from being a tough card this year. So I'm looking forward to that next year. And then you'll be able to get a pink diamond Michael Malone coach card with powerful boosts once you get both Jamal and Bam. We know coaches are going to be moving different this year, so depending on what he can do, some of these coach cards are going to make insane changes to lineups, and Mike Malone being that offensive guy, without a doubt, wouldn't be surprised if he does end up doing the speed, the 3-point, the ball handle for players on your lineup. Now right here they talk about some stuff you'll be able to get on your journey to that Kobe Bryant. On the collector level side, the first powerful card you can add to your collection will be one of the few diamonds available in season 1. Collecting 500 cards is going to get you a diamond Shawn Marion reward card, along with Hall of Fame badge cards and more along the way. So they're making it sound like collecting is going to be a little bit tougher this year, but they want to make sure they really reward people, because in the past, collector level guys, honestly, aside from like the really end game ones, have sucked. You'd be lucky to get a card first just for it to be relevant for the first week. But now it seems like whether you get it first or if you're in the top 10%, cards might actually be able to last you a decent amount of time. And if defense plays the way people are talking about, Shawn Marion is going to end up being a dog. Plenty of player cards will be available throughout the year, with regular releases of new multiple cards each week. To launch the year, there will be over 50 player cards added across 3 2K Day collections and 1 collection from the first event of the year, Legendary Path, which we saw with that Ruby Andre Iguodala. So stay tuned to the social media. Closing remarks are pretty much talking about how excited they're going to be for this. So pretty much to highlight a lot of the stuff that is changing in 2K24, the auction house is now removed. The player market is going to be a brand new thing. 2K is now going to be regulating that player market, so people just can't sell cards for insane or low prices for sniping. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. You can now buy MT from 2K, which is crazy. If the price is right, that could end up being big, although knowing 2K, they want their money. So if they can sell it for the right price, we can see how that works out. There's going to be the 7-game weekend leagues. There's going to be the 2-week salary cap mode. Draft mode is gone. Limited is gone. New shoe effects. Coach cards are awesome. Insane starter kits. Collection looks like it's actually going to end up being worth it. Holographic and graded cards now somehow have value. Clutch time might be fun. This animation, if you can win the trophy, is going to be awesome. Definitely looking to do some kind of series around that as well. And yeah, the content looks great. The cards are good. It's all now gonna come down to how the game plays. Mike Wang, I need you to carry us home. I can't lie to you guys. I'm very excited for NBA 2K24 MyTeam. I am concerned for how no money spent players are gonna be able to make MT since sniping is gone, the badge system is gone. Y'all are gonna have to think of something creative. Maybe there's something that they're yet to talk about, but we're gonna have to see as we get closer to the game. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited about? What are you concerned about? And is there anything you would change? Until then, man, I'll see y'all in 2K24. Peace.